so yesterday you got, we can call it an introduction, we could call it a review because you've seen it in Fan 5. You did learn it virtually last year in 3rd grade, but we all know how that stuff goes. But you got a little bit of an introduction to what we're going to be doing with area and perimeter. Most important things you need to know are the difference between the two. At this point, you should know that perimeter measures around the outside of an object. You can go side plus side plus side plus side. And then with area, which the first time we talked about it was yesterday, or technically Monday if you want to think of Fan 5. But with area, if the perimeter is measuring the outside, the area is measuring the inside. And you're always going to find the area by doing length times width. And we always measure our area in square feet. So that's one big difference between area and perimeter. You noticed it on those questions yesterday that if you're going to be talking about perimeter, you're just measuring it in units. And if you're talking about the area, you're going to measure it in square units. Now, what we're going to look at today is going to be strictly word problems. And they're only going to be with perimeter today. We're going to do area tomorrow. And then when you come back next week, we're going to have a day where we just mix them all up. Before we do that, we'll do a quick little review of area and perimeter. So like I just said, area is equal to length times width. So if you look at this rectangle here, you've got a length of 12, you've got a width of 6. If you know your facts, that's not very difficult. But if you did 12 times 6, you would get 72. And for this, we would put square centimeters. And for number 2, since we've got a square, we know all those sides are going to be equal. Really, I only need to list 2. Area is equal to length times width. Area of that square would be 9 squared centimeters. And if I lower this curtain down, I've got 2 more shapes. Only thing different here is now I'm finding the perimeter. So again, opposite sides are equal. You just got to label them. If I got 18 at the top, I can go ahead and put 18 at the bottom, 7 on the right, 7 on the left. Same deal for this square over here. If I've got a square, if I got to put 9 at the top, I can put 9 at the bottom, 9 for all sides. And then again, I can just go side plus side plus side plus side. In the video yesterday, I prefer doing the like sides first. I'd go 18 plus 18. 8 plus 8 gives me 16. Carry my 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 gives me 3. Then I would take 7 and 7, add those together. I know that's 14. And then I would take my 36 and my 14, add those together, and that would give me a perimeter of 50 inches. Just inches because it's perimeter. Now, when you're dealing with a square, you don't necessarily have to do 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. You could go 9 times 4 just since they're the same number. Either way you did it, the perimeter there would be 36 feet. So the only thing different with today is now you've got to read, which has been one of our weaknesses specifically in Fan 5, but these word problems are not going to be easy if you read the questions wrong. Now, I will say these are a little bit easier than the ones that you'll see next week because these just flat out tell you, hey, I need the perimeter. Not every question is going to say, hey, what's the perimeter? There's going to be certain keywords that you have to look for, but we'll get to those. So this question says, the length measures 10 centimeters and the width measures 7 centimeters. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? First thing you should do on any word problem with area and perimeter, if it doesn't give you a picture, draw it. Now, it tells you it's a rectangle. Draw your rectangle. It tells me it's 10 centimeters long. Boom. 7 centimeters wide. Boom. Now, if I wanted to find the perimeter, guys, all I got to do is add all the way around the outside. List my opposite sides and add my like numbers. 10 plus 10, that gives me 20. 7 plus 7, that gives me 14. Add those two together, my perimeter would be 34 centimeters. So really, nothing much to that one. Basically the same thing we've been doing. You just got to do a little bit of reading. So this is one where I would have you pause, solve, press play. So I'll read it, you can pause it, you can solve it, then come back. The length measures 15 centimeters and the width measures 8 centimeters. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? So again, you don't get a picture, draw a picture. There's my rectangle. It's 15 centimeters long. It's 8 centimeters wide. Finding the perimeter, all I got to do is add around the outside. So I can put 15 at the bottom, 8 on the left, add all the way around. 15 plus 15 would give me 30. 8 plus 8 would give me 16. Add those two together, I would have a perimeter of 46 centimeters. Can you use your calculator for this? Yes. Do you need to? Probably not. But it wouldn't be bad to have it there to help you check your answers. Here's where things get a little bit more complicated. But guys, to me, these are the questions where it's just like cheating. If it gives you answer choices, you are able to use them. So I'm going to do this one, then I'm going to have you try one on your own. This one says the perimeter of the rectangle is 28 centimeters. So it's already told us the distance around is 28. It wants to know what are the dimensions for the rectangle. So we've got to figure out what the length and the width are. Well, guys, you've got choices. All you got to do is plug them in, do a little bit of math, and see if it matches 28. So for A, it says the length is 5 centimeters, the width is 4 centimeters. I'll try it. 5 long, 4 wide. Then I would go ahead and list my opposite sides. Do a little bit of math. Add all the way around. 5 plus 5 is 10. 4 plus 4 is 8. If I add those together, that would give me a perimeter of 18. That could not be my answer. All right, get rid of those. Then I'll try B. B says 7 centimeters wide, 10 centimeters long. So I'm always going to put my bigger number on the longer edge of the rectangle. So here again, list my sides, opposite sides. 10 plus 10 is 20. 7 plus 7, 14. Add those together, it gives me a little bit too much. That perimeter would be too high if I add it all the way around, which means B's got to go. All right, got to keep working. Let's look at C. C says a length of 10 and a width of 4. Picture would look like that. List my opposite sides, add them up. 10 plus 10 gives me 20. 4 plus 4 gives me 8. Add those together, that matches the perimeter that I'm looking for. If you're somebody who gives EOG effort, you're going to check D just in case, because sometimes we make mistakes. Po body's perfect. Length of 12, width of 6. Put a 12 here, 6 here. List my opposite sides. Add all the way around. 12 plus 12 gives me 24. 6 plus 6 gives me 12. If I added those together, that would also be too much. So my perimeter being 28 would mean that my dimensions would have to be a length of 10, a width of 4, which is C. So you'll see some of those where all you got to do is just a little bit of work. So now I'm going to give you a chance to do one of those. Very similar question, different numbers. So I'll read it, pause it, solve it, press play. The perimeter of the rectangle is 22 inches. What are the dimensions for the rectangle? So again, you're plugging them in, doing a little bit of math, and seeing which one matches. All right, so if you did this question correctly, that means you tried A, you tried B, you tried C, you tried D. Even if the answer was A, you kept going. For this one, your answer would have been D. Because if you list your length of 8, your width of 3, and then you list your opposite sides, if you add all the way around on those numbers, you'll get a perimeter of 22. If I did 8 plus 8, that gives me 16. 3 plus 3, that gives me 6. And if I added those two together, that would give me my perimeter of 22 inches. Now guys, you don't have to add like numbers. You can go in order if you want. You can go 8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3. It doesn't matter. As long as you're doing the correct addition, you're going to get that question correct. So with those, it's really just taking the time to put your answer choices onto the question. Here's where they get a little bit different, where they might not necessarily use the word perimeter. Here's where you've got to use some logic and think about what it's asking. It says the rug measures 14 feet by 19 feet. I would stop right there and I would draw my rug. 14 feet by 9 feet. I might have said 19 feet. I didn't mean to. 14 feet by 9 feet. It doesn't say what is the perimeter. It says what is the distance around the rug. What would be the one key word there that tells you what to do? Guys, you know perimeter goes around. If I'm measuring around this rug, once again, I'm finding the perimeter. So I've got my labels. I can go ahead and put the opposite sides down. And then all I have to do is add. Take 14 and 14. If I added those two together, I'd get 28. If I added 9 and 9, I'd get 18. Add those two numbers together and I'll have my perimeter. 8 plus 8 is 16. 6 stays, 1 goes. And then 2 plus 1 plus 1 more would give me 4. That would give me a perimeter of 46 inches. So those are the ones that I actually like more because they provide a little bit more of a challenge. You've got to use those key words to determine what you're looking for, area or perimeter. All right, I got a couple more for you to look at before I'll have you do some on your own. Let me get this mess out of the way. How do I clear this out? I do it 1,000 times. All right, so this one kind of goes back to what we were just doing. Gives you what you're looking for. It says the painting is 5 feet wide. It is 3 times as long as it is wide. What is the perimeter of the painting? So here's what I'm afraid of. People are going to know to find the perimeter. They're probably going to know, hey, I need to draw my shape. But my big worry is that they're going to list it as 5 and 3. Yes, you see the 5. Yes, you see the 3. But it's saying 5 feet wide. It's not saying 3 feet long. It's saying 3 times as long. So this kind of goes back to your multiplicative comparison problems that you were doing. So if I leave that, I'm going to put that in the student's chair who left it all over the floor. Thank you for asking. So you can go ahead and label 5 feet wide, and then you can put 3 times as long. Now, if it's 3 times as long as it is wide, just figure out what am I multiplying by. The only other number, guys, it gives you is 5. So if it's 3 times as long as it is wide, I would do 3 times 5 to actually figure out how long that shape is. So let me cross that out. If I did 3 times 5, that would be 15 feet long. This part's the easy part. Now I just got to add. List my opposite sides. Add my like numbers. 15 plus 15 gives me 30. 5 plus 5 gives me 10. That would give me a perimeter of 40 feet. So that's one where you've got to read what the numbers are actually saying. So give this one a shot. Let me read it, pause it, solve it, see if you can get it. It says the garden is 9 feet wide. It is 6 times as long as it is wide. What is the perimeter of the garden? Again, you're finding the perimeter, but now it's just a matter of having your shape and putting the right labels. So if you did this correctly, here's your garden. You know for a fact it's 9 feet wide. It's not 6 feet long. It's 6 times as long as it is wide. Well, if it's 9 feet wide, you'd have to do 6 times 9 to get 54 feet long. Even though it's a bigger number, you can still find the perimeter. List your opposite sides, add your like numbers. 54 plus 54 is a little bigger, so I'll do the math on that one. 4 plus 4, going to give you 8. 5 plus 5, going to give you 10. Now we could do 9 plus 9 and get 18, but then I'd have to add those two together. 8 plus 8 is 16, 6 stays, 1 goes. 1 plus 0 plus 1 is 2. Bring down that 1. My garden would have a perimeter of 126 feet. So guys, we haven't even really scratched the surface on what some of these word problems can look like. But like I said, little preview of the word problems for perimeter. Tomorrow you'll do the word problems with area. Tuesday when you come back, we're going to mix them all up and you're going to really have to determine what those keywords are and what they're telling you to do. So after reading that, you should have a Google form with some perimeter word problems on there. Hopefully you read them carefully, just like you did in this video. I'd expect you guys to do very well. If you have questions, confused about something, please let me know and I'll be sure I can help you out. All right, y'all, good luck.